Hey guys, thanks a lot for clicking on the video. So let's get right into it. The Assassin's Creed timeline can be a real puzzle, especially with Assassin's Creed Shadows coming out soon, and remakes of older titles in the mix. I made an effort to untangle the historical web and bring some clarity to it all. The challenge lies in the fact that many AC games hop around different time periods, and characters often weave in and out of each other's narratives. Still, I tried to organize all the main Assassin's Creed games, both in order that they were released and chronologically. Quickly, I'll refresh you on Assassin's Creed games in release order, followed by a more detailed look at the chronological timeline. Now, once Shadows drops in February, I'm going to add it to my research and possibly redo this video somewhere down the line, after everyone's had a chance to play it for themselves. We do know it takes place in the 16th century Japan, and there's a ton of info about Assassin's Creed Shadow already. While we could theoretically place it somewhere in the timeline now, I'm holding off until we have more detail about the exact timeline and how it fits in with the characters' lives. Until then, I've got everything else locked in, and I hope you enjoy the video while you wait for Shadows. I mean, you're watching this video, right? So you have to be an Assassin's Creed fan. Okay, let's dive in. Get it?
We are the shadows.
Starting off our list, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, 431 to 422 BC. Now, it makes more sense for a game titled Origins to be at the top of this list, yet it's actually Assassin's Creed Odyssey that starts the timeline. Set in ancient Greece, it features its own interpretation of the Peloponnesian War. Specifically, the main narrative of Odyssey kicks off in 431 BC, following a brief flashback to 480 BC, where our protagonist's grandfather, King Leonidas of Sparta, confronts the Persian army. This game takes place centuries before Assassin's Creed Origins, at a time when the Hidden Ones didn't even exist yet, let alone the Brotherhood. Cassandra, or Alexios if you prefer, is a mercenary who, while taking down a cult, isn't officially an assassin with a capital A, as that concept doesn't truly emerge until we meet Bayek, and that leads us to Assassin's Creed Origin, 49 to 44 BC. While it may not be the first title to explore in the Assassin's Creed series chronologically, Origins rightfully earns its name as it delves into the true beginnings of the Hidden Ones. Set in ancient Egypt during 49 BC, the game portrays the power struggle between Ptolemy XIII and his sister Cleopatra as they vie for control of the kingdom. This story kicks off with a personal tragedy, the loss of Bayek's son, which drives him and his wife Aya on a path of vengeance. Their journey leads them to Cleopatra, where Bayek discovers the existence of the Order of the Ancients. As is typical for the protagonists in the Assassin's Creed universe, Bayek encounters significant historical figures, but it is in Origins that the Hidden Ones, the precursor to the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, is established to fight against the corruption of the Order. Assassin's Creed Mirage, 861 AD. So, we're moving on to Assassin's Creed Mirage, the most recent installment in the series, which actually takes place third in chronological order. Set in 9th century Baghdad, specifically 861, the game centers around Basim. We've encountered Basim previously in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where his older version appears, even though Valhalla is set after the events in Mirage. It can be a bit perplexing. However, Mirage stands alone as an adventure, so you don't really need to be well versed in Assassin's Creed lore to enjoy this one. Knowing a bit more just adds to the experience. This game tells Basim's origin story, showcasing his transformation from a street thief to the master assassin featured in Valhalla. Additionally, we witness the construction of Alimut, which later becomes a significant stronghold for the Hidden Ones. Mirage also represents a shift in gameplay style. Following the expansive worlds of Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla, it seeks to return to the franchise's roots, focusing less on a vast open environment and RPG mechanics, and more on stealth and assassination tactics. While the timeline for Mirage isn't precisely defined, it won't be long before we see Basim again. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, 872 to 878. The Assassin's Creed series typically spans extensive periods of history, but Assassin's Creed Valhalla takes place just about 11 years after Mirage, around 872 CE, with some glimpses into Eivor's past. This connection is highlighted by the appearance of an older Basim in the game. Valhalla primarily unfolds in England, though the player will also explore Norway, Vinland, and other locations that I won't spoil for you just in case you haven't played it yet. Additionally, the DLC allows Eivor to journey across Europe. During this era, England is fragmented into competing kingdoms and it is grappling with the Viking settlers. Similar to Odyssey, Eivor is not introduced as an assassin in Valhalla. Instead, they are a Viking warrior seeking to establish a new home in the fertile lands of England, only to find themselves embroiled in the conflict between the Hidden Ones and the Order of the Ancients. The main narrative concludes around 878, but the DLC continues the story up to 889 and beyond. The OG Assassin's Creed 1191. So let's hop into the original Assassin's Creed. The story takes place during the latter part of the Third Crusade in 1191, and centers around Altair, a high-ranking member of the Assassin's Brotherhood. However, after he puts a crucial mission at risk, he faces demotion and must redeem himself by eliminating important Templar targets. In this first installment of Assassin's Creed, the Order of the Ancients is referred to as the Knights Templar or the Templar Order. I respect this game for what it started. It's an amazing franchise, but I'm also very glad that the climbing and parkour mechanics have improved since. Assassin's Creed 2, 1476 to 1499. In the next Assassin's Creed chapter, we leap forward several centuries to the 1400s, where Ezio Auditore experiences the vibrant Italian Renaissance. Assassin's Creed 2 explores a significant portion of Ezio's life, starting with his birth in 1459 and leading up to the pivotal events around 1476 that ignite his journey as an assassin. We then follow him through approximately 12 years of seeking vengeance before he finally joins the Brotherhood, and fast forward to 1499 for Ezio's crucial final confrontation. Next up is Assassin's Creed Brotherhood from 1499 to 1507. Now this installment doesn't leap too far ahead in time, obviously, serving as a sequel to Assassin's Creed 2. It starts right where the previous game left off, placing Ezio back in 1499. The story then tracks his endeavors over the next few years as he works to eliminate the Templars. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood showcases Ezio's achievements during this period, leading up to a climax in 1507. Assassin's Creed Revelations, 1511 to 1512. Ezio's back in Assassin's Creed Revelations, marking the final chapter of his journey in the 1500s before we transition to a new century and setting. Set a few years after Brotherhood in 1511, the game follows Ezio as he travels to Masyaf and then to Constantinople, where he becomes involved in the complexities of the Ottoman Empire. I'm only counting the main missions of this game because if I counted the flashbacks, we would have to go a ways back and then push Revelations back to the 1100s and disrupt the timeline and the list order. I'm not doing it, plus I don't want the TVA after me. Instead, it fits perfectly within Ezio's 1500s adventures before we move on to the next era.
Struggle seems to move in one direction.
Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, 1715 to 1722. Black Flag is still considered one of the most cherished entries in the Assassin's Creed franchise, taking place during the golden age of piracy. Not counting Napster or LimeWire, the game kicks off in 1715 in the Caribbean, whatever, where we meet the pirate Edward Kenway. His journey into the world of the Brotherhood is more of a happy accident than a deliberate choice. The story wraps up around 1722, but there's more to explore in the 1700s as we move on to the next chapter. Assassin's Creed Rogue, 1752 to 1776. Now, Rogue advances the timeline to 1752 and shifts its location to North America. This is a significant alteration in the narrative for the perspective of the player, who assumes the role as a Templar rather than a traditional assassin. Shay Patrick Cormac experiences growing cynicism for the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood around 1754 and subsequently aligns himself with the Templars by 1756. All this culminates in a dramatic conclusion by 1776. Assassin's Creed 3, 1754 to 1783. Alright, so let's take a step back again and look at the release in chronological order. So Assassin's Creed Rogue was released after Assassin's Creed 3, but its timeline actually starts earlier and extends further. Now, in Assassin's Creed 3, we find ourselves in North America during 1754, right at the onset of the American Revolution. Haytham Kenworth guides us through the years 1754 to 1755, and then we shift the narrative to his son, Radu Hagedu, also known as Connor, beginning in 1960. By 1769, an older Connor has begun his training, and the game concludes with the peak of the journey in Assassin's Creed 3, which takes place in 1783. Longtime viewers of the channel already know what I'm gonna say, but I am a proud Gunyetgahaga man, a Mohawk to the English, and to play a AAA title with my language in it, it makes me so immensely happy, even if it isn't the best entry in this franchise. Assassin's Creed Unity, 1789 to 1794. Assassin's Creed Unity transports players to Paris during the late 1700s. This follows a brief journey back to France 1307 during the game's prologue, which is experienced through Abstergo's Helix program. While this sets the stage for your involvement with the assassins in the modern era, the primary focus of the game is in the 18th century. There's a slight overlap, and we also explore a part of the protagonist Arnaud Dorian's childhood in 1776, before diving back into the main game in 1789. The game concludes with Arnaud's journey and the Brotherhood in 1794.
As far back as
Last up, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, 1868. So, we make a significant historical jump to the second half of the 1800s in Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Our journey takes us to Victorian England, where we follow the story of twins, Jacob and Evie Fry, starting in 1868 as they arrive in London. Additionally, there are several DLCs for Syndicate, including one that's set a few decades later in 1888. The main game also features a time anomaly that allows players to experience a brief moment in World War I. So that's the list chronologically for now, but again, Shadows is coming out very soon. And just if you're curious guys, I'm going to put a list of all the other Assassin's Creed games that I couldn't shimmy into this list. Now, to be fair, I'm not saying that these games aren't good or noteworthy. Some of them are very good. It's just they might be Xbox Live games, they might be additional DLC, some of them are even the VR entries, but they are still part of the Assassin's Creed world. Don't forget to comment your favorite Assassin's Creed game down below. I'd love to see what your favorites are. Thanks for watching and liking this video. It really does help me guys, and I do appreciate it. I'll see you in about a week. Take care.
For my brother.
for my sister.